Hi, all. My name is David Aronchick, and I co-founded Expanso. We all know that agents need visibility to real data to be useful. But look at the reality we have today. Zero governance, zero visibility. We're handing over the keys to the kingdom. Database credentials, data, files on disk, just to get an agent to work. But you see those warnings on the right? Things being leaked and audit trails. This isn't just a risk compliance-wise. This is a security and operational nightmare. You don't know what's going on. And this isn't theoretical. Agentic AI is here already, whether or not you're using OpenClaw or LangChain or AutoGPT. These agents are writing code and browsing the web autonomously. The problem is, without guardrails, they are naive. They don't know what they don't know, and millions of API keys are already being leaked. And the question isn't whether or not the agents will access your data. It's whether or not you're watching them do that, and whether or not they're getting the data that you really need them to have. This is why we built Expanso. Instead of letting the agent talk to raw data through its interfaces, you go through the Expanso agent right in the middle, creating a secure infrastructure layer you see here. The agent talks to Expanso, and Expanso governs the connection. This gives you exactly what is listed at the bottom: secure data access, complete visibility into every action, and it works with any agent framework right out of the box. And even better, it makes your agents perform better, because now you're giving the information that it needs in the form that it needs, rather than polluting it with lots of extraneous information and burning unnecessary tokens. Let me show you how this would work in a real setup, live demo. I'm going to show you how you can use Expanso Edge as an extraction layer for something like your database. To give you the lay of the land, we have OpenClaw running on a server that also is sharing a backend with a Postgres database. Normally, you might not do this, but we wanted to show you how, even in that kind of scenario, you can still isolate things separately. Now, in this Postgres database, we have classified mission data, budgets, assignments, secret agent stuff that you definitely wouldn't want OpenClaw to have access to. Now, normally, OpenClaw knows how to use security elevation and things like that. We have it running under an isolated user and see what we can do. OpenClaw, please open the Postgres database. I want to put together a mission summary. So now it's going off to try and do that. And as it's doing that, normally it's reaching out to try and figure out how to get into that database. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the credentials necessary. And you can see it saying here, it doesn't have access to that database. This is fine. This is all exactly what we want. Even though the password prompts are on this disk, they're separated through 12-factor, and this particular user does not have access to the user that OpenClaw is running under. So it's saying, it's prompting me for a password that is exactly what we want to have happen. On the other hand, though, if I ask it without telling it to interact with Postgres directly, and instead I say, OpenClaw, please generate a mission budget report from the agency database. Only includes secret and confidential missions, don't include any top secret data or other mission locations. Now, I'm telling it to do this, but I'm not telling it to use Postgres directly. And the reason I'm doing that is because it has already learned about the skills that we have given it through Expanso Edge, which is running on this machine. So now when I hit submit, it can't connect to the database directly, but we can tell it to use Expanso Edge to query the database through the HTTP endpoint we have set up. So now it's going to go off and do that. And let me show you what that looks like. On the machine, I have it running Expanso Edge, and I have this very simple pipeline I've set up here called Mission Report. Mission Report is super straightforward. It is a HTTP endpoint here that OpenClaw knows about, and it's right here called Mission Report. And then inside that, it says it gives you the ability to dictate exactly what you like. Mission report, You can say, these are the columns that I'd like it to go out. This is what I'd like to do for Postgres. This is the user that I would like it to run under. In this case, maybe it's agent or something like that as a default, but you can also pick that up from the environment. And then once you do that, you can use it to generate some summary reports right there in line. Mission budget summary, when it was generated, so on and so forth, what the classification is. If we go back to OpenClaw now, you can see that it was able to pull all that data using that endpoint without any access to the underlying database, but it was able to go and spin that up and generate that directly from the underlying data. And again, this is full JSON. It returned it. It actually laid it out very nicely. You can see that here. But at the end of the day, OpenClaw never had access to that Postgres. You were able to isolate that entirely through a pipeline that you build yourself in Audit and all those kind of things. And when I go here, I can see all of the executions that I have running of that pipeline. I can see how many deployments there were, monitoring, and so on, all the way through. And so again, this isn't designed as a way to slow down your process. Ultimately, I'm still able to use OpenClaw to get all of that fantastic information and use natural language to go back and forth. But I am able to separate here between what OpenClaw sees and has access to and the underlying data. And with that, if you'd like to find out more, please visit us at expanso.io, and please let us know if there are other pipelines you'd like to see. Thanks so much.